Hey y'all, welcome to our chicken and dumpling video. Still learning how to use YouTube and the cameras, and I unfortunately did not have any assistant here with me today, so I don't have a head for most of this video, but trust me, I have one. I just don't always use it correctly. Ask my family. Anyway, enjoy the video. Alright, so welcome to our dumpling making station here in the RV. Counter space is limited, so I'm glad to have one of these folding tables. Works out great for me. In this bowl here, we've got 1 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, just regular flour. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder to this. Just like that. Give that a little mix. Alright. And then we have 1 egg here that we're going to crack and scramble up a little bit before we go throwing it in there. If I can crack an egg today, we'll be doing alright. So here we go. I can crack an egg, I promise. There we go. There is the egg. We'll set that there. We are going to add just a little bit of salt to these. Probably like a ½ teaspoon. There we go. And then we'll scramble this egg just a little bit, just so that you don't have to do it in the bowl. And then pour them in there. And then pour that egg here. 1/3 of a cup of water. If you get a little too much water in there, it's okay. You can add more flour. Then we're just going to mix this up. You do want your water and your egg to be cold when you do these. It'll help a lot. And then you're going to use a lot of flour when you're rolling them out. You do not want them to stick to your board or your surface that you're working on. It will make it very tough to get them off when you're trying to put them into the chicken stock. Alright, these are a little wet, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on there. Like I said, sprinkle a little flour on there. There we go. Mix this around again. There we go, that's better. Alright, so like I said, you're going to want quite a bit of flour on the surface. So go ahead and get that down there. You can add more later if you need to, but just get that on there. And then run this all off the spoon. Of course, you need your hands to be clean. All right, we got that in there. Set that off to the side. Then we're just gonna roll this over a little bit, knead it, get some more of that flour worked in there because it is still a little wet. All right, that feels about right. So we get that there. Again, spread that flour back out. Now, you're going to want these pretty thin. About 1/8 of an inch. Now, these are the Southern style chicken and dumplings. These are not the dumplings I grew up with. We had the big biscuit ones. But after we moved to the South, I found out about these little dumplings here, and I love them. So, sorry everybody. My mom makes great chicken and dumplings with the biscuit style, big fluffy. Oops. See, a little wet there. With the big fluffy dumplings, and that's delicious too. So Mom, if you're watching this, I like yours too. I was just in the mood for the Southern style ones today. Alright, you're going to want those pretty thin. That's really thin right now. So we're going to put this away. Alright, so normally you want to use a pizza cutter to cut these. I live in a small home and you would think I'd be able to find anything I needed, but I don't know where it's gone. It's here somewhere. I'll find it just after this video is over, I'm sure. I'm just going to flour this little knife here a little bit. And then you want them
about an inch wide. And they don't have to be perfect. They're just going to get cooked in some broth and be delicious. Alright, so there's your dumplings all ready to go into the broth. I gotta strain that broth and I'll bring it back to temperature. We'll throw the dumplings in there. We'll boil them for about 5 minutes. But I'll see you back over there in just a minute. Alright, so as you can see, this has come back up to a boil. About ready to put the dumplings back in there, but I'm going to add a cup of whole milk in here because I like mine a little creamy. We are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this just because I cheated and tasted it. And I like black pepper. In my world, if you can't see it, it's not in there. I know what you're saying. Slow down, slow down. It's good. We're just going to put a little bit of salt in here just because it needs a little bit. And then we'll get this back up to a boil. And we'll be ready to go. Alright, it's back up to a boil again. I am going to show you how the dumplings look now. I did throw them on a plate so I could get over here without having to walk back and forth across the camper. There is a lot of flour still in there. I like mine a little bit thicker, so I like that flour to be in the pot to thicken that up. If you don't want the flour in there, you can use some cornstarch and some water, thin that down, put it in there, let it boil. It'll thicken right up, but I like doing it this way. So there we go. In with the dumplings. Now we didn't put a lot of leavening agent in this. The egg is in there and the other, but we don't want it. You don't want them to puff up a lot. You don't want them to be as thick as biscuits or any of that. You want them kind of a noodle-like consistency. Like I said, they're not perfect. They're all different sizes, different shapes. I'm going to give this a little stir so nobody's sticking on the bottom. Now I did make a half a batch of the noodles, or the dumplings, just because I am going to use the other half of the chicken for the chicken salad. So if you're going to use the whole chicken in this, go ahead and double the recipe for the dumplings. I wish we had smell-o-vision on our YouTube channels. It smells fantastic in here.
Alright, well this part with the 4 minutes of watching me stir a pot would have gotten a little boring for you, so I thought I'd speed it up. But this is 4 minutes, just boiling away there. Alexa has a timer set, so she'll let me know when it's time is up. And then we'll go on to the next part. Hope you're enjoying the video.
Alright, so Alexa's just told us that the time was up. They are looking great, smelling fantastic in here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put up this dark meat chicken that we pulled from the chicken. Made sure there were no bones in it. You don't want anybody to choke on your dinner. So go ahead and get that back in there. Alright. We're going to give that just a second to warm back up. Alright, so we're back to a boil. I'm going to get some of these delicious dumplings out of here. Some of that great chicken, that broth. Alright. And there we go. And turn that off so it doesn't keep burning or boiling. So here we are back at the big table. We are, you can see it's a little boring on top. So we're going to sprinkle a little parsley on there. Just so my mother knows I had some greens today. All right, here we go. We're going to give this a try. It's going to be hot, so be very careful. I'm telling myself, not you. That is delicious. Your family will love that. If you're cooking just for yourself, you'll love that too. Takes a little bit of work, but I probably have, in that whole pot right there, maybe $4.50, $5 worth of stuff. And I'll be able to get 2 meals out of that, so pretty cheap. So we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video for me, and if you would, just let me know where you're watching from so I know how far these videos are going. Have a great day, y'all.